88.1 The Burg, your movie central. Welcome to What to Watch Weekends. My name is Nathan, the host of What to Watch Weekends, and I'm not alone today in the studio. I have somebody with me. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. I am that somebody. In case you recognize me, I am Charlotte from Charlotte's Collection and News Central. And I am super excited to be here today with Nathan to talk a little bit about movies.
Yay!
Happy Saturday.
You have more energy on air than I ever have, ever. Both because it's at night and also because it's a Saturday.
For real though. I get it.
Super fun. Super excited. That's I'm pumped up now. You've pumped me up. That's great. So,
oh yeah.
Yes, we're going to talk about movies and mostly different kinds of movies because that's what is going to happen. So let me explain really quickly. When I asked Charlotte to be on as a guest for my show, I thought it would be kind of fun that we did something that we were both familiar with. And we kind of stumbled across the idea of talking about chick flick movies because you're really big on chick flick movies.
Absolutely.
It then rolled around to Saturday, aka today. And rather unfortunately, I was kind of behind on watching some. I watched at least one, which we'll get to later. But I kind of fell behind.
That's okay.
It's all good. It's all good because we have backups. We've got plans in our heads on what we're going to be doing for each segment. So I think naturally speaking, because this is What to Watch Weekends and it's tied into What to Watch Wednesdays, we can start somewhere simple by going into the three movies that I talked about on Wednesday so I can hear your opinion on them. Because you and I are about the same age and you have some nostalgia for this series specifically, which is, of course, the three Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies that I talked about on Wednesday. Might as well do it. Might as well.
Absolutely.
So we're going to do kind of a speed run. What is it? Lightning round.
Lightning round.
Oh,
yeah.
Lightning round review of all three movies before we go to our next music break. So might as well start at the beginning. We're going to start with Diary of a Wimpy Kid from 2010, which is available to watch on Disney+. Basic plot summary, it follows Greg Heffley, who is going to middle school for the first time, and he wants to be popular because he is in middle school, and middle schoolers only think popularity is important.
It is important. No, I'm just kidding.
You heard it here first. Popularity is important outside of middle school. Anyways.
For real.
That was just an opinion.
Yes, just an opinion.
So I watched these recently. How long do you think it's been since you've seen these?
Oh my goodness. So I'm looking back and the first one came out in 2010 and it's 2025 right now, which is insane. I cannot believe it came out that long ago. So I would say it's probably been at least, oh my goodness, I'm trying to think how old I am. We'll say 7 years probably. But I'm very familiar with the Diary of a Wimpy Kid franchise because I've read a lot of the books growing up, like we talked a little bit about before.
Oh, yeah.
So I do know the general gist and I can remember the movies. And like I feel like once I start talking about them, it's totally going to click in the brain.
It'll click because if I'm being honest, the movies do a really good job of adapting the books in a lot of ways. That goes for the first movie specifically. It basically follows all of the major plot points. Like we have the cheese on the blacktop. We have the wrestling, which I think was part of the first book.
I believe so.
Yeah. We have him joining the safety patrol, definitely part of the first book. Halloween night. We have... What was another big? Oh, yes, the musical number where they do Wizard of Oz.
Yes, and that became like a meme or something like that. Did that not?
I think so. Let me think.
Or like a meme like sound bite.
Which part of it? Was it
the one like they go through and they talk like each of the people on the stage go through and they sing their parts and like a couple of them were like it's like the turn around every now and then. You know, that's it.
I don't think it's not clicking to me.
And I need. That's what he does. He sings it really, really well.
Oh,
that's
yes.
the one, and that became like a meme or a soundbite in the last year or so. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
And it popped up a lot on my feed, and my feed is not like it's just random stuff, but like that was literally so crazy. Like,
Okay,
do you know what I'm talking about now?
I do. So I'll explain it for the audience. So there's a part in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie where Greg is auditioning for the musical, which is Wizard of Oz, and it's basically a bunch of middle schoolers trying to sing to sound like the characters they're trying to play, right? You got someone dressed as the Scarecrow trying to sing so that he can get the role of Scarecrow. It's a whole thing. And they're middle schoolers, so they don't really know how to sing. And then it cuts to Greg singing, and he's singing Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On, I believe, or no?
I think it was like that one song that I was singing. Like
Need You More Now, More Than Ever. That's that's My Heart Will Go On, right? That's
No, I don't think so.
Ah, darn.
I know. I don't remember the name of that song.
No, that's okay. And I need
you more. That was
More than
embarrassing. I don't know if I would do that again.
Total Eclipse of the Heart by Bonnie Tyler.
Goodness.
That's
close,
what it was.
though. It's close to The Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion.
Yes, very, very similar era, I believe. Let me double check that. 83. My Heart Will Go On, 97. So 13 years, close enough. Close enough. It's fine. Here's the point. So it cuts to Greg singing that song really, really well.
Angelic, I think they used in the movie.
Yes. And it was like, he's got a really good soprano voice. It's weird because in the book, that was like a joke that he just had a soprano voice and was then cast as the tree because of it. In the movie, they basically have Patty, the really annoying girl, take over the role of Dorothy because Greg was going to be cast as Dorothy for that lovely voice, which that would have been something to watch.
Yes.
But anyways, there's minor changes like that that either are funnier or I suppose more interesting than what happened in the books originally. One of my favorite moments from this movie, honestly, I'm surprised I've never seen it memed anywhere. There's a part where Greg is imagining one of his classmates, this like big brutish guy. And he's like, this big brutish guy will eventually be working for me when I'm rich and famous and own my own mansion. And it cuts to like grown-up versions of him and his classmate.
Was it Holly?
No, it was this like, what is his name?
Rowley?
No, it's just some random guy.
Oh, really?
Some random guy that was bullying him in class. And so when he's saying, oh, I'll be rich and famous, this kid will be my landscaper. And
I do remember that scene.
Yes. During that part, it was so funny because they basically have the kid versions of those characters voice over the adult versions. And that sent me into hysterics watching it because it's just Greg, like this incredibly buff, handsome guy talking with the voice of like 12-year-old Zachary Gordon, which I found extremely funny because it wasn't in the books ever. And you can't really do that in a book because it's not an auditory thing. Of course it's a visual. What am I saying? Such a random detail, but it goes to show that taking the books and putting them into a live action movie sounds like a bad idea on paper because that usually doesn't work, especially in the case of Disney taking all of their animated stuff and making it into live action stuff.
Red flag. Except in the case of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, because most of the time, especially with the first three movies, they do a really good job of translating what was on the page into a sort of live action format that works a lot better than I was expecting it to. Right? I suppose that's partially my own opinion, but I don't know if you agree with that at all. I do agree with that. I think that they did a good job, and even some of maybe like the slower portions of the book. I know that when reading a Diary of a Wimpy Kid book, there's some of the pages that don't have some of the illustrations, and they get sometimes a little bit long.
Sure.
And I think that was definitely coming at a time when I was like 8 years old, maybe, when I was reading them, but it was like those photos really kept it going. And so I feel like the movie adaptation was so good with keeping the plot moving forward in a way that the book sometimes a little bit lacked because it slowed down. But the thing is, it's totally different. Like you were talking about, it's a movie versus a book. And I think that they did a wonderful adaptation because they kept the general plot the same, but then they did minor tweaks that kept the plot, again, the same, but also more like cinematic and more interesting, that people would remember those specific like scenes and stuff that maybe the book didn't encapsulate the exact same way, but then it kept like still the character development and the characters and stuff the same way. So I do agree they did a way better job than Disney, in my opinion, as well. Like Disney's movies for live action, a lot of them have been not my favorite at all. And I think that's a really disappointing thing because after watching a lot of those Disney movies growing up, the animated versions, and like loving them, I love Disney princesses and all that stuff. And then when I watch them in person, not in person, but like live in like theater or something like that, it's completely different. The only thing that I like about the new Disney live action movies for the princesses is their dresses. Like Cinderella's dress is stunning, but
Sure.
like I think that overall Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies adaptations were really on point.
Yeah, and I think that's a really what you've mentioned it in terms of it having words on a page versus visual images. I agree with that wholeheartedly. That's a really good way of wording it, honestly. And I think that really applies to the second movie, which is Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules from 2011, available to watch on Disney Plus. I always do this sort of prelude with every movie that I talk about. Basically, this movie's about Greg dealing with his older brother, Roderick, who is his older brother and in high school and bullies him. But I remember this book being the one that I liked because I liked it more than the first one.
Really?
Right. I mean, you said that really like I was saying something egregious. What do you mean?
No, I don't know. I remember, I think the movie, correct me if I'm wrong, is this the movie where Holly and Heather are in more, I believe, when they have the party and Heather Hills is like going with, oh my goodness, Roderick, and then
No,
is that number one?
That's the third one.
Is that the third one? Oh my goodness, I jumped ahead. My apologies.
No, you're good.
But
You're
I do like, I think Roderick Rules is a good one, and I think that one has a lot of character development for Roderick.
Absolutely. I think so. To build off of what you're talking about in terms of character development and changing the scenes to be a little more cinematic, but still keep it in line with the character development. One of the biggest points of the original book of Roderick Rules was this party that he throws because their parents go out of town and leave Greg and Roderick behind at the house. And they're like, you're going to figure out your differences without us being in the house. You are adolescent boys.
Yeah.
What a smart idea. But when it came to the book, what happens is that they throw a party and Roderick locks Greg in the basement. In the movie, what ends up happening is they throw a party, Roderick locks Greg in the basement, and then they get a phone call from their mother, and Greg gets on the phone in the basement and basically is threatening to rat on Roderick.
I would say blackmail.
Yeah, he blackmails him. And so Roderick lets him attend the party and rallies there with him. And they get involved in the party as well. And it's this really goofy moment because you actually get to see what's going on in the party. Average basic high schooler stuff, but in like a PG kid-friendly type of a way. So they're not drinking anything unsavory or doing anything illegal. But they're definitely rowdy and making a lot of noise. And then they get into a conga line because Rowley wants to dance the conga.
It's epic.
And yes, that scene in particular, I felt was a actual improvement over the book. Because in the book, he's just in the basement watching through underneath the door. In terms of the movie, Greg wakes up with Roderick. So he has some form of the blame put on him as well for not really stopping it. And kind of just going along with it and blackmailing Roderick so that he can be a part of it. So it has that different sort of character side to things while also having Rowley in there because Rowley is awesome. We love Rowley. Absolutely. They cast Rowley so well in these movies, man. Perfect choice. Perfect choice. Robert Capron, I wanted to give him a shout out on Wednesday. I just didn't, but he's so good. Am I barking up the right tree here? Are you agreeing with stuff I'm saying, or let me?
I would say that Rowley, I think, is a really good character. I think the actor did a fabulous job, but that character annoyed me really bad. Like, he was not my favorite. I think that he was really annoying. But I will say, okay, this is kind of a crazy thing. I don't know why Diary of a Wimpy Kid is popping up on my Reels page. I'm not exactly positive. It's probably because I work here at 881 The Burg, and we just had our zine come out that's Diary of a Wimpy Kid themed. And What to Watch Wednesday was also Diary of a Wimpy Kid themed.
Sure.
So maybe it's listening. I don't know.
It probably is.
I think so too. Again, that's my personal opinion, but I don't know. And I had this meme pop up of an interaction I believe, oh my goodness, I don't know if it was the first or second movie. I don't think it was the third one, of Greg and Roderick. And it was like this meme. The funny part is it was trying to talk about how hot Roderick was. And the meme, like, it was like totally like put to like some weird music in the background, some weird scene in the movie. And so that's what I think of when you're talking about this, because it was so funny. And the comments were out of pocket, and they were like, hot take, Roderick's hot, or like something like that. It was like things like that. And I was like dying because I don't know, it was super weird. Like, when I was watching these movies when I was 10 10 years old-ish,
Sure.
I wasn't thinking like the older brother was hot. Like,
Sure.
that's weird. He's like way older then. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm way older than him. That's probably, that's crazy.
I think I have a good guess as to why that is. And that is because in these movies, like, admittedly, Roderick is kind of emo.
Yeah.
And back when we were 10, it's when you start going through that emo phase, especially for our age group, our demographic of people who read these books. And he wears actual eyeliner at some point.
And he's in a band called Loaded Diaper. Come on.
Yeah.
How much cooler can you get? And he drives a van. That's super fancy.
Yes. He's definitely some form of an emo.
Yeah.
And I think that has everything to do with it. That is a good point, though. That also, like, I don't know why so many people on the internet find him attractive, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I think the actor does a really good job, and I think he's really funny because he's a dumb teenager.
Yeah.
But in terms of attraction, I don't get it.
Have you heard of like the Hear Me Out cakes?
No.
Okay, so can I explain to you what a Hear Me Out
Sure.
cake is? Okay, so someone like brings a cake to a party or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and you're like, okay, hear me out. And typically it's like a predominantly female crowd that has these kind of like maybe like male characters in movies and stuff, and it's supposed to be out of pocket. And so someone would be like, hear me out, Perry the Platypus, and then put a photo of Perry the Platypus in the cake. Or like, hear me out, Lightning McQueen. They put a photo in there, and they like just put these most outrageous like things that you're like, what? But then you're like, oh, I kind of understand why they're saying that at the same time. But maybe. And so I feel like Roderick would be in a Hear Me Out cake.
So let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. When you basically have a group of girls getting together for a party.
Yes.
One of them brings a cake, and in there they have
print out.
Yeah, they print out a piece of paper, put in the cake that is like a fictional character that they're attracted to in a way.
You tape it like onto like a stick, and you like put the photo at the top, and then there's like a whole bunch of like just random characters, like a conglomeration of some sort of photos in the cake.
Oh, so basically everybody at the party brings their own little sign and puts it in the cake.
Yes, but there's but there's supposed to be like Hear Me Out cake. So like it's supposed to be like random weird characters that are mostly animated, and you're like, that is weird, so like Megamind or something, or Bertram from Jessie.
So illogical ones that they're... okay, I think I get it now. So they're basically just putting in random animated characters that they're not actually attracted to.
Mrs. Incredible is crazy. It's a crazy one.
They're putting in random animated characters they're not actually attracted to for the sake of a joke.
Yeah, it's probably more of a joke. Like, I'm looking in here, and we have like Eric from The Little Mermaid, which I don't know if that one's really the man with the yellow hat from Curious George.
Of course.
Crazy.
That's that is funny.
The more you know.
I mean, to tie this all back in, I think he would be in there.
In the Hear Me Out cake.
In the Hear Me Out cake, although I think somebody would actually go to the effort of taking the like 3D version of him and put it in there, the one from the
book.
That or like the 3D animated Disney ones that they made just as a joke to annoy everybody at the party, going, why didn't you put the live action one in there? That's the real one.
For real. We got to have a Hear Me Out cake party now, I think. That's what I'm hearing.
Please, no. I can't. No, that's... Before we go to our next break, I think we should definitely just mention the third movie.
Absolutely.
That being Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dog Days, 2012, available to watch on Disney+. This one I found interesting. It's about Greg trying to reconcile with his father, who wants him to be something he is not, while it's summer and he wants to stay inside and play video games. What I realized when talking about this movie on Wednesday is that it actually is the basic plot of Last Straw stapled on top of the book Dog Days, right? Because Dog Days was set in summer, and it's like Greg wanting to stay inside playing video games all day. The Last Straw is centered around Greg's relationship with his dad and how his dad thinks that he should be something he's not, and possibly sending him off to a military school.
Yeah.
I find it interesting because on the one hand, I feel like I would normally get more annoyed at that kind of a change. But in the context of the movie, I feel like it works. And to kind of tie it back to what you were saying earlier about how they've made it more cinematic while still keeping the general plot, I think with the way the books work, they definitely do stagnate a little because not all of the writing on the page is connected to each other. You've got like certain journal entries of a specific day that have nothing to do with other parts of it. And I think even in the earlier books, there was probably one that was just like a journal entry that was just a single paragraph or maybe even like 2 sentences long. And then the next day, it's something that's actually related to the core plot of the book. So when it comes to something like Last Straw, you can kind of take the general plot and put it on top of Dog Days and kind of condense it all together to make a more cinematic movie, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I think it would have made me mad, but it works enough in practice that I don't really have much to complain about. I think, honestly, the movie itself isn't really all that funny, and it definitely pales in comparison to Roderick Rules. But I think overall, it's still a pretty decent enough movie, and it works really well near the last 30 minutes of it. I mean, what you were bringing up with the whole party and stuff, like, what were you were asking about Holly and Heather and
they're my favorite.
Yeah, okay. So what am I trying to say? You were trying to bring up a point earlier when you jumped ahead. What were you saying about it?
I think, oh my goodness, I can't even remember what the point was. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. So I suppose I'll just talk about
with them. Oh, and there's also like the when they had Roderick play at the party.
Yes. Yeah.
Was that number 1?
No, that was in number 3.
Number 3. Okay, yes, I did. That was the scene on my reel. It was that scene.
Oh, I see. So you basically saw, they're basically saying, oh, Roderick is attractive, and it's him singing the song Baby by Justin Bieber during Heather Hills' birthday party.
It was the scene of Greg going to tell Roderick in the dumpster that he's going to play at. And then it was like the convincing scene of him before with Heather and her friend. Then Holly was standing right there.
Right.
That was that scene that I saw. And it was like Roderick in the dumpster. So that's why it was, I guess, that was probably the full context of why it was funny that they were like, oh, hear me out with like Roderick because he's in the dumpster.
Right. Roderick is so attractive. Man is sitting in an actual dumpster.
Literally.
Yeah, okay. Now I'm connecting the dots a little bit.
Thank you. You helped bring it along with me.
Yes. I mean, I will say I kind of I didn't understand it at first, but I mean, when he started singing Baby by Justin Bieber.
Oh, wow.
I kind of understood it when he started singing that song. Because let's be honest, Devin Bostic, he's not like a perfect singer, but he doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
He's
Roderick.
He was giving it his heart and soul.
For real.
And that's what made it funny. And that's what made it entertaining. I remember just pausing the movie while watching it. I'm just like, oh no, this is good.
Fast forward back, watch it again.
Watch it again. Yes, absolutely. It was honestly hilarious, mostly because Heather Hills, the girl whose birthday party he's singing it at, was just standing there giving him the death stare.
Like, what in the world is this?
She was just so confused the entire time. And then he goes, because his band's called Loaded Diaper, he goes, we need to go full diaper. So he just tells his band to crank it up, and they start like setting off pyrotechnics and dropping down banners, and they go into this like whole punk rock version of Baby. And when that happened, I was just like, this is the most awesome thing I think I've ever seen in my life. And I kind of understand it now. I kind of get the hype for Roderick when he does
Riz.
that.
The regret of inviting me on the show
Oh, dear. Dear me. Before my brain explodes into a million little pieces after that comment, we are going to go to break. We will be back soon to talk about some more stuff. So stick around. 88.1 The Burg, your movie central. Welcome back to What to Watch Weekends. My name is Nathan, the host of What to Watch Weekends, and I'm joined by...
Hi, I'm Charlotte.
Hi. Welcome back. So... good heavens. My throat kind of hurt. That's not fun. Oh, boy. Well, anyways. So, welcome back to What to Watch Weekends. I'm not dying. Don't worry. I'm completely fine. So, after we've talked about the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series, I figured we'd jump into one of the movies that we were originally going to talk about tonight, because when we originally organized all of this, we were like, oh, we should do chick flicks type of a thing. And I remember one of the ones that you mentioned that you've seen before that could be kind of fun to talk about was the 1999 movie 10 Things I Hate About You, which is available apparently on Disney Plus and Fubo TV, whatever that is, and Hulu and other such places with a subscription, or you could rent it from Amazon and YouTube. Basic plot summary of 10 Things I Hate About You is it follows two sisters, Kat and Bianca Stratford, or is that Stratford, not Strafford, Stratford, who are high school girls. And a new boy in town by the name of Cameron wants to date Bianca, the younger sister. And so in order for him to date her, he must get past their sort of overbearing father, who has implemented the rule that Bianca can only date when her older sister, Kat, finds a boyfriend. So naturally, he gets one of the more, I suppose, stuck up and rich kids by the name of Joey Donner to pay the bad boy by the name of Patrick Verona to date Kat. It's a weird sort of hexagon.
Yeah, it is.
A very strange hexagon and very difficult to describe. But I think I can clarify it pretty simply by saying the following. This movie is an adaptation of the Shakespeare play Taming of the Shrew. And that kind of clears up why it can sound a bit difficult to follow when I say it out loud like that. Because if we're being honest, when it comes to Shakespeare adaptations, how do I put it? It's one of those things where when you actually watch the movie, it's very easy to understand because it does a really good job of introducing the characters and you understand all of it. And at the core of it, if you whittle it all down, it's really about Kat and Bianca and Patrick.
And the other guy.
And Cameron.
Yes,
yes,
and Cameron.
That too. Yes, Cameron. I think I want to mention the cast for this because at least the main four when you bring that up, because the cast is really good. We have Julia Stiles being Kat, who's basically the main character in the form of...
I would say so.
Yeah, Kat Stratford. We have Joseph Gordon-Levitt playing Cameron, the new kid. We have Larissa Oleynik playing Bianca Stratford. And we have Heath Ledger playing Patrick Verona. Yeah, drum roll. Heath Ledger, I've already said it. So
Sorry.
No, it's fine. And I'm gonna be honest, the entire the main four is really good. So very good. Heath Ledger is awesome.
Yeah, he is.
He's honestly probably the best performance in the movie, in my opinion, at least. And that's coming from somebody who already knows how good of an actor he is from The Dark Knight, playing the role of the Joker. Have you seen that movie before?
I have not, unfortunately, but I've seen the other Jokers, and Suicide Squad's like my favorite movie.
Right.
But I've not seen the other Dark Knights, and I was so traumatized from watching the other Joker movies that I don't even know if I want to give that a chance.
Oh, it's the Joaquin Phoenix ones?
Yes.
Okay.
Those I even saw like the newer one in theaters. Right. Oh my gosh, that was something.
I can imagine. So fair point, but you're at least familiar with him playing the Joker, right?
Yes.
Heath Ledger was the Joker in The Dark Knight, and it was this super well-known role, very transformative, very pivotal in the overall history of cinema when it came out in the 2010s, whatever. I will say that in comparison to the psychopathic Joker, Patrick is this lovable goofball with a slight Australian accent. And Patrick, yeah.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Is it Patrick? Is that yes, you're right. You're right.
Yes. Heath Ledger plays the character Patrick.
Okay, yes, you're right. Sorry.
Yes. So he's just a lovable goofball with a slight Australian accent who is extremely charming, and you watch it and you're like, this man played the Joker. What were they thinking at all? I can't see it at all, which is kind of a good thing. It's kind of a good thing. It shows that he had severe amounts of range as an actor.
Yeah, very versatile.
Very versatile. It makes it all the more sad that he's no longer with us. But let's not focus on that for too long. Let's focus on the movie. Because if I'm being honest, I'm looking at the reviews right now, and I'm really annoyed that I'm seeing 7 out of 10s right now.
Really? What do you think? Do you think it should be higher or lower?
I think it should be higher.
I do too.
I personally, honestly, you may not agree with this,
Okay.
but I legitimately felt this movie was bordering on a 10 out of 10.
Wow.
I loved it.
Wow. Okay. I think it's really good, but that's crazy. Coming from the movie guy, I kid you not. I was like, I knew you'd like the chick flicks. I knew you would. Now you got to believe me and watch the rest of them.
I started Legally Blonde. We'll get to that later.
Oh.
We'll get to that later. How do I put it? I liked it more as a comedy movie than as a romance movie.
Yeah.
Even though the romance was very good, in my opinion.
Yes.
I liked the romantic part of it, but I mostly liked the relationship between Patrick and Kat. I honestly feel like if they didn't nail that at all, it wouldn't have been as good.
I agree.
It's kind of like, it's interesting because at first it sets up Cameron, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who does a really good job. He's a lot younger. He's an interesting, versatile actor because he's kind of always the same attitude of character, but he looks different in every role I've seen him in. So it's interesting. But for him, essentially, he starts off as a main character, and then it pivots over to be Kat and Patrick as the main character. And I feel like if the movie just never nailed that at all, it wouldn't have been nearly as good. But because it spends so much time trying to get these two together, and with all the time spent on them getting together, it really just ends up working a lot more because of it. It elevates the movie a lot more. Let me think here. I think the best way I can put it is, I'm not going to do a funny joke. The movie is called 10 Things I Hate About You. So allow me to say to you, movie, here are more than 10 things I love about you as a movie. Let's go with this. So
That's
first,
so cute. It's like the poem in the movie.
Yes. So we have the fact that this movie is extremely well paced. It skips over any awkward parts. Any first meetings between Cameron and Bianca are done really fast and don't really linger. It's very lean and gets to the point quickly.
Absolutely.
It almost feels like they've skipped over some pivotal scenes, but in a good way that keeps it moving.
They didn't drag their feet like the third Die of a Wimpy Kid movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see, you're connecting the dots here. I appreciate that. The dialogue is also equally as fast. I really love the cinematography. I know who is who, and I know what's going on with each person. I rarely get confused on who is who.
Completely agree.
They're all very distinct. I love the character of Michael, played by David Krumholtz. I would love to be cast as a Michael-like character in a romance movie. Could I please do that? I want to be the silly, goofy friend. Do you remember who Michael is? He's the dork with the button-up shirt who gets the girl with the let's see here.
I'm blanking on who Michael is. Oh no.
Michael, we have him.
Yes, I remember him.
Do you remember him?
Yes, go find your movie, Nathan.
Yes, I'd love to be a Michael-like character. We have let's see here. There's no real mystery to the relationships in this movie. There's no real sense of, oh no, it's more focused on, oh, are they going to end up together? Will they, won't they? It's not of a, I suppose, mystery how they're going to end up together. We already know how they're kind of playing things out. It's more about what are they going to do next to keep that train rolling.
Could I add on something to that one?
Oh, absolutely.
So when I think of what you're saying with that, I completely agree. It's one of those movies that you like know the plot and you kind of like, you're like, oh, I know what's going to kind of generally happen. Oh, maybe they get together, maybe not. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but like you kind of have that general theme throughout the movie. And I think a lot of romance movies go along with this like development, the general plot, like the climax, etc., like a normal movie. But throughout this movie, even though it kind of goes along with that general journey, it still has like you on the edge of your seat. And I think they do a good job of it because like you said, they kind of just go along with that path. But at the same time it's not like every other single like love story, love movie, everything like that, because they have its own quirks that make you kind of think, is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen, rather than like how, because you know it's probably going to happen. But it's just kind of like the thing is like what's going to go on alongside with that. And I think they do a good job of that.
Absolutely. And I should mention, because this is What to Watch Weekends, spoilers are completely allowed.
Oh, are they allowed? Okay.
Yes. And the spoiler is they do end up together at the end. They do.
Love.
I was so sad though, because during the prom scene where it's revealed that what I just remembered his name. I just forgot his name. What on earth?
Oh my goodness. Whose name? The dad.
No, the main character.
Patrick,
yes. Patrick. Kat finds out that Patrick was paid to go out with her, and she reasonably reacts, unfortunately, to it.
Can I read the poem?
Yes, absolutely. Go for Well, actually.
Here, preface it.
Preface it. Essentially what happens is she finds out that he was paid. She leaves him. And then in their shared English class, she has written a poem that is, I suppose, an interpretation of a sonnet by William Shakespeare, which fitting since it's Taming of the Shrew. Before you mention this, I want to say another thing that I love about this movie that made me so annoyed is I very nearly burst into tears during this scene. I was on the verge of it.
This scene, the poem?
Yes.
Oh, I cry. I cry every time.
I was on the verge of it. And that's the kind of thing that always makes me, it's a good thing when I get mad and start yelling at my computer screen going, I hate you, movie, because it means it's actually affecting me. You've connected with it. I've connected with it. I just express my very nearly verge of tears very differently because I don't want to cry during movies because I hate it.
It's so sad, though. Oh.
It is very. Now, with that being said, go for it.
Okay. Should I do it in like a sad tone? Should I do it like the way she does it? Or I'll try.
Just read it and we'll see.
Okay. So she's up in the front of the class, like Nathan said, and she's reading this poem, and he's sitting right there, and she's like kind of like almost like in the verge of tears, and then doesn't she like burst out into tears and then run off at the end?
Yes.
Okay, so she goes, I hate the way you talk to me, and I hate the way you cut your hair. I hate the way you drive my car. I hate it when you stare. I hate your big, dumb combat boots and the way you read my mind. I hate you so much it makes me sick. It even makes me rhyme. I hate the way you're always right. I hate it when you lie. I hate it when you make me laugh, even worse when you make me cry. I hate it when you're not around and the fact that you didn't call, but mostly I hate the way I don't hate you. Not even close, not even a little bit, not even at all. Oh. It's such love. It's like Great Gatsby kind of vibe, almost like the not perfect love, but you kind of think it's going to be the perfect love, but like you'll never get to that perfect love kind of thing.
I haven't seen Great Gatsby. I have no frame of reference, but
I'll
100% take your word for it. I'm sure it is. I mean, very similar types of stories.
It's very that I wouldn't say it's like very, very different type of story, but the love of it, like the kind of general theme of that fact that love is going to let you down even when you love someone is kind of there with along the Great Gatsby story is kind of like he has all these things, he's in love with this girl, but this girl is never going to live up to that expectation of like the perfect love he has for her, or perfect love, quote unquote, kind of thing.
Right.
And this is kind of like that when she loves him, and then he is like does like the paying stuff and everything like that, and that breaks her heart, even though he loves her, and like it's not perfect, even though doesn't he not accept the money? He
accepts it, but then he uses the money to buy her a guitar.
Oh, does that make it better? Does that cancel it out? What do you think?
The way I looked at it is essentially he originally was at one point later, he was being paid like $300 and he's like, I don't really want it, but he still took it. I think at one point he even bribed the band to play a song so that he could sing for her.
What song did he sing on the stair steps? We haven't even mentioned the most important part of this movie.
Yes, where Heath Ledger himself actually sings the song Can't Take My Eyes Off of You.
In Tacoma,
Washington. Yes, like actual on location. You could go to these steps.
Literally, Stadium High School. So cool.
That brings up an important point. You've been to Stadium High School.
I have. My uncle actually graduated from Stadium High School.
What?
So I know, isn't that crazy? It is like the prettiest high school, in my opinion, in Washington State that I've been to. And I've been to a lot of different high schools. It looks like a literal castle. You can see over the water. Have you been there?
No, but I'm just picturing it from the movie.
Absolutely stunning. It looks like that in person. My cousin and I over the summer were going to a Pink concert at the Tacoma Dome.
Oh, okay.
And we were like going around and we were dressed up in our like concert attire. So I had like a pink dress on, and we went around Stadium High School and stuff, and we took photos in front of everything all dressed up, and beautiful, beautiful, beautiful school. And just being seeing the steps and taking a photo in front of like where Heath Ledger literally saying, can't take my eyes off you. Oh my gosh. It was like, it was so fun because it's literally the place and it's so beautiful. And the fact that it's a real high school and you could go there and see everything and where it was filmed. And actually, I think this last year or 2024 was the some sort of anniversary of it being filmed there or something. And
it probably would have been the 25th anniversary.
Was it 25th anniversary? And they had a big giant banner hung on their stadium, which is funny, Stadium High School, like on the banner, like on the fence. And it was like they're having a viewing party or something of that movie at that school. It was so cool.
That's funny because I have had Logan on as a guest.
Yeah.
For those of you who've listened in, you've probably heard Logan on before. He's told me about that. I think he and his partner went to that screening, actually.
At Stadium High School?
He might have. Don't quote me, but I remember him mentioning something like that. Either they went there during that event or they just went there for a general screening of it.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah, I think he mentioned that they were like sitting on the field watching it.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if it was during that anniversary event, but I know that he did go there and he watched it there with his partner. So that was really cool. And he told me with that logic of you should absolutely watch this movie. And I'm glad he told me that because yes,
He's skeptical about my movie taste.
No, I'm not. Here's the thing. When it comes to chick flicks, when it comes to rom-coms, I don't dislike them overall. I like the good ones. I like them when they're.
Good ones.
Yeah, oh, sure. I'm sure. And when I've seen this one, I'm.
You said it was a 10 out of 10, and you're a movie guy, so that's crazy.
I mean, I might adjust it down to more of like a 9. But,
he's thinking about it.
But I mean, in comparison, it's still really good. I adored it, like, every second of it. So there's that. There's my official opinion. I think I've listed about 10 things I loved about it by now. Although I'll say 2 other things just for the sake of it. We have, because it's not like her poem was limited to 10. We have the fact that every faculty member in this movie is so funny and memorable and lovable in their own little way because they're all weird. We have the soundtrack that was awesome. We have the fact that there's that part where Heath Ledger does not give, where we have not Heath Ledger, Patrick not giving Kat a kiss in his car. And this weird moment where I'm like, what is going on? And I feel this surge of emotion because I'm very sad for no reason. And I just felt in that moment like everything in my world had been destroyed. That was great. Thanks a lot, movie. I think that's over 10. I think we've gotten to 10. So with all that being said, I do believe it is time for us to go to our next break. Yes.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
We will be back soon. 88.1 The Burg, your movie central. Welcome back to What to Watch Weekends. My name is Nathan, the host of What to Watch Weekends, and I am joined by...
Hi, I'm Charlotte.
Hi. Again, you have so much energy. I have none of that energy anyways. So our sort of topics tonight have been the Wednesday show, and we talked about 10 Things I Hate About You, which was on the roster of chick flicks, which I was the one that I managed to get to watching. Now I'm going to kind of hand over the torch to you, Charlotte, just a little bit when it comes to some of the other movies that we had originally planned for tonight, because since I do not have infinite time on my hands, I just didn't have time to watch some of the other ones. But we had originally planned to talk about 4 movies: 10 Things I Hate About You, Legally Blonde, The Notebook, and Mean Girls, the 2004 one.
Yes, absolutely not the other one.
So I think we should start with the one that I'm most familiar with out of those because I started watching it earlier today. And then when I want to just watch 10 Things I Hate About You instead, which I'm very glad I did, which is Legally Blonde, 2001, available to watch on Tubi right now, which is about a girl going to be a lawyer at Harvard Law School, I believe. Is that the plot? Is that pretty...
Yes. Well, so what happens with it is that Reese Witherspoon, who plays... I believe her name's, oh my goodness, I'm blanking on her name. Elle Woods. Sorry. Thank you. Elle Woods. And so she's dating this guy. And side note, he's kind of a loser, in my opinion. But you'll figure that out when you watch the movie. And he breaks up with her and they're like, all good. And she's like in this, like, it's very, you think stereotypical, like, oh my goodness, like she's wearing all bright pink, all these different things, like bright blonde hair. And they try to like definitely play into that stereotype to begin with of like her appearance and her lifestyle of like living in a sorority or some sort of like kind of like environment like that. But she's actually super smart and like a lot of her friends are super smart. So they kind of like go away from that and they're like, So he breaks up with her because he's going to go to Harvard Law, the boyfriend. And she's like, oh my goodness, like super heartbroken. And she decides one day, she's like, I'm going to go to Harvard Law too. And so she goes to Harvard Law, and then she does this whole like iconic video to get into the law school, and it's super cool. And she's like super qualified and stuff, and has a whole bunch of like different things on like her resume and everything. So she's definitely qualified to get into there. She's just a unique student. She shows up, she pulls up with her little dog named Bruiser, and he's always like in an outfit or he's in a purse and all these different things. And she sees her boyfriend, or her ex-boyfriend at the time, and he's with this other chick, and he runs into her in the hall or whatever. And he's like, oh my goodness, like, what are you doing here, Elle? And he's like, or she goes, I got into Harvard, like, it's hard or something like that. Or it's one of those like iconic lines, whatever, the movie. And it was so good. And then he's like, oh, like, doesn't take her seriously, even though the fact she just got into Harvard as well as him. And so she goes through and like has to like prove herself kind of extra, because she's this beautiful woman that happens to wear a lot of pink, and she like try to like break the stereotypes of things and try to like kind of win him back. And she does really well academically, does really well, and ends up the movie winning a court case. And he like wants her back at the end of the movie, and she's like, absolutely not. You are terrible. Like, you only wanted me when I'm successful like this, but I've been successful the whole time. And it was just super wacky, but it's a wonderful movie. It's so good. The outfits are so on point. The hot pink is so beautiful, and I just love it. But yeah, that's my rundown.
Right. Yeah. Bit longer than what I would normally do, but that's completely fine. No, you're good. Do not apologize. That is completely fine. I do appreciate it. And I think it's interesting because I at least got the general gist of it from the first 20 minutes that I watched, which is, again, him breaking up with her because reasons.
Yeah.
He's like, I have so many expectations.
I'm going to be the governor someday, and I have to have someone who's going to be the first governess or whatever.
Yes. Because you can't have a blonde wife
that wears pink.
That wears pink, apparently. I mean, to be fair, not exactly all that fair, but to be fair, I mean, she does wear quite a lot of pink.
I love it. If I had that closet, that'd be amazing. But I'm not blonde like her though, so can never be Elle Woods.
Fair enough. How do I put it? I think I can't give a full like summary on themes or character or my opinion on it. But the first 20 minutes, I think I understood within the first 20 minutes what it was trying to capture, the feeling it was trying to go for. And I'll share that at the very least, because with a chick flick like this, you kind of want to be able to understand what the point of it is within the first 20 minutes. It's kind of like the plot's got to start with the first 20 minutes with something kind of not simple in a bad way, but simple in a sort of it's not super complex. You can read into it, sure, and there's stuff there, but on the outset, it's not like a deep psychological thing. Yeah,
this movie definitely is not.
Yeah, so it doesn't have like some deep philosophical meaning. What I think it's trying to capture is what I'll describe is essentially an early scene right after Elle's boyfriend breaks up with her. She's moping around in her room for about a week.
Has chocolate.
Yes, with a bunch of Valentine's chocolate. And at some point, she's watching a trashy romance movie, and the main lead of that movie, within the movie of Legally Blonde, goes, "I love you,
oh,
girl."
Yes, I remember this.
And she goes, "Liar," and throws chocolates at the TV.
Oh, yes.
And see, silly moment, funny memory.
She's so real.
Yes. So the thing is, though, when I'm sitting there watching that, I'm going, okay, I think I understand the point of Legally Blonde now. I think it's meant to capture in a bottle that overall feeling of, I'm a girl, people don't take me seriously, I've been dumped for what seems like no reason, and now I have to prove myself because I want this thing and I can't get it. It's kind of that catharsis of, I want to go after this and I want to prove that things are this way. I don't want it to be hidden from me anymore. Is that an apt enough description of probably what the most of the movie's like? Or
I think so, kind of. I think that a lot of it's the Barbie theme. I think that really embodies it, is like the girl, the typical, maybe like I said, the stereotype, they really do play into that, the typical girl can do whatever she puts her mind to.
Right.
But it came out in what year? I'm sorry.
2001. Yes.
2001. So I think that like was even before like a lot of like kind of like more so feminist movement kind of thing happened. So this movie does not follow along, in my opinion, a typical plot of a chick flick. It has like the typical elements of a chick flick. Oh my goodness. Of a chick flick, following the guy and stuff like this. But this is more like kind of not, again, it's not that deep, but at the same time, like from a theme message, I think it is supposed to be like, hey, I can do this and I don't need that guy to not see my worth for who I am kind of thing. And I think that it was like maybe so ahead of its time in a capacity of kind of what that theme is that I think I can't really like the Barbie movie. Have you seen the Barbie movie?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So like the Barbie movie was kind of like had that theme a little bit as well,
Yeah.
a little bit differently, but I think this was like ahead of its time Barbie movie, which I think Legally Blonde was done way better, way more subtle than the Barbie movie. Barbie movie was kind of like in your face, in my opinion. I
Sure.
did not like the new Barbie movie, and I am a extreme Barbie person. Like I grew up with all that stuff. I have two sisters, but like I think this is like the undertones of that message, and I think they did a way better job because it's like not as much maybe so shove in your face again, in my opinion, of Barbie movie.
Right, and I get you, and I can see the comparison mostly because of all the pink, but also because of the themes and stuff like that. Like the whole generic blonde girl can do. I mean, it's Barbie in more ways than one. I could see the inspiration. I think I remember reading somewhere that the new Barbie movie was inspired by Legally Blonde in some capacity.
Wow, I'm not shocked by that.
No, I wasn't really all that shocked from what I saw of it. I think part of what I also wanted to capture is that I think it's meant to be kind of catharsis for the audience that it's geared towards when it comes to her at the end going, oh, no, I'm not going to take you back. I'm competent. I don't really need you anymore. It provides that sort of catharsis for anybody who's had been broken up with for no apparent reason and kind of needs to unwind by watching a movie like this. Because chick flicks, I mean, sure, it's not, from your own admission, it's not like a traditional chick flick, but it has enough elements of it that it could be considered adjacent to one.
Yeah.
And those kinds of things, they're not for me, but I understand the escapism rooted in a chick flick sometimes. Sometimes it's genuine, but sometimes it can be ironic in the sense of I'm watching this to escape from my life and have something kind of trashy to just kind of watch and make fun of in a way. So it serves that dual purpose of being that silly little thing that you watch while also having that core theme of maybe exactly what you are watching it for to get away from. That was weirdly worded, but I think I've captured it.
No, I get what you're saying. I will add that kind of throughout the movie towards the end-ish portion, she does kind of like find this guy that she's kind of with, but I think that in the first movie it really kind of like foreshadows something that really ties into the second movie. And I will say, again, this is all my personal opinion, the next two, Legally Blondes, which is the twins version, which is like her like nieces or something like that, and then Legally Blonde 2, I don't think are that good. I think Legally Blonde 1 captures the whole essence of everything that we just talked about, and then number 2, they should have just stopped. And then number 3 or whatever, the Legally Blondes, no comment. That movie is very interesting, but
Sure. And I can imagine. With all that being said, I think we should, excuse me. We should continue on the sort of speed route we're going. Might as well tie it in to the Barbie movie in some way by talking about The Notebook really quickly. Which is from 2004, available to watch on Peacock with a subscription, or you could rent it from other services if you don't want to use Peacock. Because quite frankly, personally, I do not want to use Peacock ever in my life. So you could rent it from places such as Amazon.
No Super Bowl for you.
What?
No Super Bowl for you.
I didn't need to watch the Super Bowl.
I didn't watch it either, to be honest.
Anyways, so the only reason I'm tying it in with the Barbie movie is because Ryan Gosling is the main character in this movie,
yes,
apparently.
that's true.
Yeah. How's about you give me like a quick, let's say, 2-sentence plot summary of The Notebook really quick so I can understand what this is.
Okay. Oh my goodness, 2 sentences I feel like feels so hard.
It can be, but if it's I'll tell you what I've heard from another friend of mine a while back. To my understanding, it's about a woman whose husband died in the war and she's reading his notebook, I believe.
No.
Okay.
That is not it at
Okay.
all. I'm sorry.
No, that was back in senior year of high school.
No, that's okay.
So much has happened since then that I've probably forgotten it completely.
So the movie is basically about this guy who's reading this notebook about what happened in a love story to his wife who has dementia, but she doesn't know that he's reading the love story to her, and he keeps telling her through the whole thing about their love story of like how they weren't together for a long time and they were together and he was like a poor boy and she was really more so well off.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And yeah,
that's
as simple as I can put it.
No, that is not at all what I thought it was. That is very interesting.
It will make you cry. It is so sad.
I've heard that it will. Wow.
Mic drop. I know.
What?
Mic drop of that one.
Sure.
I should have taken the 2-sentence one for Legally Blonde.
No, it's fine. It's completely fine. I think that is a lot darker than I thought it was going to be.
It is deep. It's really deep. It'll make you cry. Like if 10 Things I Hate About You makes you cry, this movie will for sure make you cry because it is so sad in multiple points.
I mean, 10 Things I Hate About You. I'm really good at controlling my tears when I watch a movie. The only times I've really lost it have been during Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Iron Giant, and Good Will Hunting. I cried when the Iron Giant died because have you seen that movie?
I don't believe I have. I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's a sad kids movie that is about a big robot.
Okay.
And then he flies off into space into Superman and dies. And it's
oh no.
It's out of context. Doesn't sound all that sad, but
it is sad. Wall-E makes me cry. Like I can't get through Wall-E.
Okay,
it makes me literally sob because I feel like, and this is like a weird thing, but I like always feel like Wall-E is like not super far off from like the human race, and it just makes me, again, that's a weird thing, but it just makes me literally sob.
It's not all that. When you say that, do you mean like the portrayal of the human characters?
Yeah, it's just like we're so into technology, it makes me really scared sometimes. But Wall-E makes me like, oh my gosh, I've watched it one time and I sobbed the whole thing, and like I've started it multiple times. I can't get through it. It just makes me cry. And the love story, which is not really a love story between Eve and Wall-E, is so. Oh, my heart can't handle it.
I can fully understand. I can fully understand it during the part where they're flying around behind the ship and the engines are going during that part specifically.
Yeah,
I mean, that's technically a love story. Come on, technically? No, that's a love story.
Yeah, it is. That's real love.
Yes.
That's not the love from Legally Blonde. This is real love.
It's been too long since I've watched Wall-E, but I loved it as a child.
It
Anyways,
is a good movie.
So I guess to back it up, I mean, what parts do I want it spoiled? Let me think here.
I kind of spoiled it a bit.
That's fine. I suppose if you had to narrow it down, what part, I've been told that it makes people cry. What part about it specifically do you think is so sad? When in regards to the Notebook.
Okay, so you said spoilers are allowed?
Yeah.
Okay, so some parts of the movie that make you really upset is the fact that they end up like breaking up for a portion, and they end up have Allie, the main character, who's played by
Rachel McAdams.
Thank you. And she moves away and he stays there, and then she breaks up with him, or no, he breaks up with her because the parents don't want them together or whatever. And it was like a late night when they were like lost, and then they got him. This whole big ordeal happened, and like he breaks up with her because the parents want her parents want him to break up with her, kind of thing. They just want them to break up because they live different lifestyles or whatever the thing is. And so he breaks up with her, and she's like, no, like this is not happening. And she goes, no, I'm breaking up with you, kind of thing. And then he gets in the car and starts trying to drive away, and she's like banging on the car door, and she like kicks the car, and she's just like, no, this is just a joke. You're coming back tomorrow, right? And like the thing is though, is she's like saying this in tears and not saying like, oh my goodness, this happens in a common relationship, but it seems like so real, like of a relationship moment, that sometimes things get really hard and you just like say random things. And again, not like happening in a typical relationship, but the thing is like the emotions feel so real when she's going through that. And then he writes her letters for 100 days, and the mom keeps them from her, and she doesn't know, and she never knew that he wanted to reach out to her or anything like that. And so she ends up getting engaged to this other guy. And then while in a scene in the movie, she describes to him this house that she wants to have, and he makes that house while she's away with a guy, and she spends his whole life making this huge house for her with like the white picket fence and the wraparound porch kind of thing. It is so cute. And she ends up seeing the photo while she's engaged to this other guy in the newspaper and comes out to see it, and she's like, oh my gosh. And then so like they end up getting back together. But the whole movie, like I said, is this older gentleman who is the Ryan Gosling character, and he is reading this whole story to his wife, Allie, with dementia or something like that the whole time. And then you find that out at the end that the whole story was about them, because you don't know in the beginning of the movie it's about them. He was just reading it from a book. And at the end of the movie, you find out that the whole love story was about them. And it's like mic drop moment. And like throughout the movie, they show a couple cut scenes back and forth. It's kind of a cut scene, a little bit movie to what happened in the past to what happens like in the present.
Right.
And the kids and stuff, their kids, which you don't know that they're their kids, visit them. And she doesn't know who they are or anything like that. And it just shows how much he loves her so much that he reads the story to her like every day or something like that. And it's crazy. And she doesn't remember, but then he sometimes thinks that she remembers. And like the whole time he's having like health problems as well. And it's.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly wasn't,
it's deep.
It does, with the initial part of it, it sounded kind of not that deep, but with the whole like dementia part, I think that definitely elevates it.
What's like the memory loss? Is it Alzheimer's or dementia or something like that? Something like that.
This is gonna.
My apologies.
No, it's fine. I forget the difference, which is kind of ironic considering that it's about memory. So, anyways, now whichever one it is, it's still tragic either way.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, that definitely sounds like something I don't know if I have the stomach for that now.
No, it is so sad. It makes me even sad to think about it. Like it just shows more like this genuine love that they're going to come back together. I think that even the other movies we've previously talked about really don't embody the exact same way as this one. Is just like stick through it all kind of thing. And he always wanted her.
Sure.
And it was like, oh my gosh, he built the house like exactly how she wanted. He remembered all those years. And it was crazy, like after a war and stuff too.
So it's basically like what happened in Up, where like they built the house exactly how they want to, but that's kind of like part of the core of the story rather than being in the opening montage kind of a thing.
Yes, but he builds the house when they're not together.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So she's with this other guy.
Good clarification. That's a really good point.
But it was it's crazy.
Yes, that does.
It's just like it's the perfect house though, for sure.
Sure. Well, that sounds sad.
It's really sad. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Let's close it out with a little bit more of a lighthearted thing. I've watched like the first 6 minutes of this, which is the movie Mean Girls from 2004, available to watch on Paramount Plus. Now, I think I understand the basics of it. It's about a new girl, Caddy Heron, who meets the Mean Girls.
Regina George, Gretchen Wiener, and oh my gosh, what's the last one? Help me out.
Karen Smith.
Yep, Karen Smith.
So 3 mean girls, and gets indoctrinated into the Mean Girls, and then she becomes a mean girl. So
she kind of like tries to take over the Mean Girls from Regina George kind of thing, because she ends up like with Regina George's boyfriend, and there's a whole scenario, and she becomes a mean girl, like you said.
Right.
From it.
Okay. So I suppose, let me ask, from what I saw, it looked like definitely looked very 2004.
Oh, yes. Even though I wasn't alive then, I could just imagine the vibes.
Yes. It looked very early 2000s, very silly.
Still a good movie.
Sure. I suppose, how do we keep this short? Can you explain, when I was looking into it, I was so confused because I read that the new movie from 2024 is based on the Broadway adaptation of the 2004 movie, which was in turn based on a book which I believe is called... what?
Is it called Mean Girls?
No, Queen Bees and Wannabes is the original novel.
Okay.
Which is a self-help book.
Oh, that's not how the movie goes.
No, the screenplay is written by Tina Fey. So then
The 2024 version of it.
no, the original.
Really?
And then then apparently the 2024 adaptation was also written by Tina Fey because it was based on the musical. Can you like run down why the 2024 one is bad in your opinion?
Yes, absolutely. So I am not a person who likes a lot of music in movies. Like I like the background music and stuff.
Sure.
But like singing in movies is really annoying to me unless it's like a theater scene or something like that. I don't want it at all. The 2024 version I saw in theaters when it first came out. I think I was there on like day 2. Like I was really excited to see it. They changed it so much. There was so much singing. The cast was like completely different. They had like a couple of like odes to the first movie, but like the whole general theme just was like kind of similar. It went around with the same general plot, but it was just for a 2024 movie, you'd expect better, like a lot better. And it just did not have that special niche of like the original Mean Girls. Like they just killed it, honestly. I don't even like the original Mean Girls as much after watching the 2024 version. It was that bad.
Oh, that's interesting.
They should have left it, not touched it.
Yeah, you could say that about a lot of things.
Yeah.
You'd say that about a lot of things.
Those dang sequels really sometimes beef the other movies.
Yeah, it's not fun. I suppose that's kind of a definitive way if you don't like the original one after watching the remake.
Like I still like it, but it's just not as much.
Sure.
Because it was so bad. It was so changed to fit maybe more of society in 2024 kind of thing.
Right.
Which is not a bad thing. But when you try to keep that same plot as the 2004 ones, different things are like socially socially acceptable kind of thing. And so it kind of just changes the core of the movie a little bit.
Right.
And so if you were going in anticipating the exact same movie, it's not the same at all. Like it's very different.
Right. And that is why I find it so strange that it's a movie adaptation of the musical stage play that was taken from the original movie. Because that's
weird.
That's a weird runaround, and I don't think that's kind of just setting yourself up for failure in the beginning because you're basically twice removed already. Like it's I can understand taking a movie and making it into a stage musical, but especially
they kept going with it.
Yeah, it's like don't then turn around and go, let's make a movie based on the stage musical.
Yeah.
Like how do I put it? When I've seen the musical for School of Rock, I haven't seen the movie, right? But they made the movie into a musical, right? That makes sense because when you have a musical, you can have people singing, you can have guitars and instruments there. It translates pretty well and you can understand it. And then in comparison, we have Wicked from last year where they take the stage musical and turn it into a movie.
Did you like Wicked?
I haven't seen.
Whoa. Okay. Continue. Sorry.
So the point is, and Wicked, I think, was also based on a book, right? So it's like,
Wicked's iconic, but a different kind of iconic than Mean Girls.
Sure. So it's essentially the way mediums work. I think when in terms of crossover, you can go from book to stage play, you can go from book to movie, and it usually works. When you go from movie to book, it's basically just taking the screenplay and turning it into a book. It's really weird, and usually will be an earlier draft of the screenplay. To my knowledge, at the very least. When you go from movie to stage play, it can work if it's a musical movie, because then it'll turn into a musical stage play. Taking a musical stage play, turning it into a movie is fine. Going from a movie to musical stage play back to a musical movie when the original movie wasn't a musical is all of a sudden you're getting into way too many realms of removal.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
It's not the same thing. Why would they do that?
No, it doesn't. It's like, why don't you just remake the first movie? It's not like anybody wants you to, but
yeah, for real.
Might as well just do that if you're going to do it in such a weird runaround backwards way anyways. So cool, guys.
Yeah, literally. Do you have the reviews of the 2024 one versus the 2004 one? I'm really curious because
Let's take a quick
I think that'd be really interesting.
We have like 7s and 8s out of 10 for the original one.
Oh, 2004. It better not be higher, I swear.
No, it isn't. Wait, this is the big problem. When I try searching it up, it either defaults to the 2004 one or defaults to the 2024 one, and it's always the opposite of the one that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm seeing 5 out of 10s, 6 out of 10s, like 5s out of 10.
For the new one.
For the new one for 2024.
I don't even think I'd give it a 2.
Nice. Wow. Wow.
I would never watch it again. I don't even want to watch a clip of it again. Like that's how bad it was.
That's
in my opinion.
That's a 2. That'd be a 0 in my book.
Yeah, I can think of worse movies. The example I have today, I don't know if you've ever seen not Where Hands Touch. That's a good movie. That the 1,000 Years of Longing. That movie was like me sitting there for 1,000 years of longing.
Wait, I think I've heard of this.
It was with Idris Elba.
Oh, that 3,000?
I like him. Yes. 3,000 Years of Longing felt like 3,000 Years of Longing, in my opinion.
I've been interested in that.
Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen it.
It was the longest movie of my life, and that would be my 0 for today.
Okay, well, good to know. Speaking of 0, this is I have nothing to go off of 0 because I'm a 0 myself. We're gonna go to break.
Oh my gosh, that's a crazy comment. That's terrible.
No, it's fine. I'm not a 0. We just have we're not running out of time either. I don't know. I think 0 is associated with sometimes at the very least.
You know what 0 is? 0 is a million without a belt.
Yes.
Not a million. Infinity.
Yeah,
Happy Saturday evening.
without a belt. I get it now. Okay.
Yes.
We're going to go to break. We're going to go to break, and when we come back, we'll continue. Be back soon. 88.1 The Burg, your movie central. Welcome back to What to Watch Weekends. My name is Nathan.
And I'm Charlotte.
Welcome back, everybody, for our last little bit of the show here. Because things never go according to plan ever in your life. Never, ever.
Never, ever.
We've kind of had to accommodate to fill out the rest of the show tonight, but Charlotte came up with a really fun idea that
thank you.
I wanted to do because it sounded really fun. And it sounded like a great way to kind of close it off because I do believe, so I suppose you have a show here on the station.
I do.
Go ahead and introduce it.
So I am the host of Charlotte's Collection, which is on Thursdays at 4 p.m. And that show is my baby. But then I'm also on News Central, which is Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at 8 a.m. And that's just about news. But yeah, those are my 2 shows that I'm a part of.
Right.
And on.
And I suppose, to my knowledge, Charlotte's Collection is a lot more variety focused, whereas News Central also has prompts and sort of, I suppose, games kind of a thing, possibly associated with the hosts. To my understanding, is that at all close, or am I completely wrong?
You're not completely wrong. News Central is a little bit more. We do national headlines, local questions of the day kind of things,
Right.
sports, weather, and stuff. So we don't really have. We have question of the day, which is our kind of our entertainment segment of it, which is the last little bit, and then we have like interviews and stuff that we also air. Charlotte's Collection is more. Each time I have a different guest on there, so kind of like what you do a little bit, but not it. But I don't have like the theme of movies. So every guest that I have on there, I do themes based on them completely, and we do
Right.
like would you rather's and hot takes, and then we just like talk about different things. And usually I have like a couple of commonalities with people. Like for example, like the guy I had the other day, I met that day actually, to be totally honest, but he's from my hometown, so we could talk about things like that or like hiking and stuff like that. So it's very specific to the person, but I like to do like little snippets and games and stuff like that as well.
Gotcha. I think I don't know why, but I think from that perspective, since you mentioned it being an interesting sort of game we could do, I went with it from that perspective. All of that to go like, oh, that's not at all associated with what we're going to be doing next.
That's okay.
But it's completely fine. What I'm basically saying is you suggested the idea that we pull up a list of movies that are kind of highly acclaimed that everybody's heard of. We go through and give a 1-word review on them.
Yes.
And weirdly enough, I suppose this does relate at least a little bit to what you do, because we were talking about possibly voicing some hot takes during this conversation.
Yeah.
So with it being 1 word and not being able to elaborate any further, it's going to probably get a little heated.
Yeah,
We'll
it
see.
could be.
Could be. Let's figure out how we're going to do this. Do you want, who should be the person that reads each movie, and we'll both say our opinion, of course, but
In 1 word.
right. Yeah. Who should be the one that reads each one?
We could go back and forth
Yeah. I was wondering if we should do that. That seems like
if you want to.
yeah. There are 250 movies on here, by the way. We'll see if we can
We're
get
gonna we could speed run this.
we should try.
I believe in us.
Okay. With that being said, let's start.
Oh, and the caveat of skip. If you haven't seen the movie or you don't know anything about it, we're just going to say the word skip simply as our one word opinion. Is that correct?
Yeah. Or if we just don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
But frankly, yeah. So
You won't know.
1, The Shawshank Redemption.
Overrated.
Perfect. 2, The Godfather.
Skip.
Michael Corleone. That's 2 words. Veto. 3, The Dark Knight. Joker.
Ha.
Number 4, The Godfather Part 2.
Skip.
Good. 5, 12 Angry Men.
Skip.
12. 6, The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Frodo.
Interesting.
Is that yours?
Yep.
Okay. Number 7, Schindler's List. Sad.
Skip.
Number 8, Pulp Fiction. Overrated.
Old.
Number 9, Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. Ring.
Oh, I was going to say ring. Of.
Number 10, The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Civil War.
Good.
Nice. Number 11, Forrest Gump. Tom.
Run.
Number 12, The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. 2.
Many.
That's all we're getting. This is straight. I feel like this is funnier to me now. 13, Fight Club. Skip.
Skip.
Number 14, Inception. Top.
Skip.
Number 15, Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Carbonite.
Love.
Number 16, The Matrix. Bullets.
Interesting.
Number 17, Goodfellas. Forgetting. Weirdly enough.
Fella.
You've seen that?
I don't think I have.
Okay. I want to make sure. Like,
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
Number 18, Interstellar. It's okay.
Space.
Number 19, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Hit me. Cuckoo. Number 27,
Skip.
Zodiac. Number 21, It's a Wonderful Life.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Number 22, The Silence of the Lambs.
Skip.
Hannibal. Number 23, Seven Samurai. 7.
Samurai.
Number 24, Saving Private Ryan.
Saving.
Is this just what we're doing?
No.
Perfect. No, I think this is fine. We'll eventually get to something. The Green Mile. Skip.
Long.
What?
Long. 3 hours and 9 minutes.
I've seen longer. Number 25, City of God.
Skip.
Good.
Is it good?
Yeah, great, actually. 27, Life is Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Unassuming. If you watch this movie, be prepared. It's very sad.
Oh, no.
Number 28, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Beautiful. Masterpiece.
Terminator.
Very nice. Number 29, Star Wars Episode 5, A New Hope. Lightsaber.
Leia.
Nice. Number 30, Back to the Future. Marty.
Overrated.
Oh, no. Number 31, Spirited Away.
Skip.
Chihiro. I love this movie. 32, The Pianist. Skip.
Skip.
Number 33, Gladiator. Crossfades.
DVD.
Nice. Number 34, Parasite. Korean.
Skip.
Okay. Number 35, Psycho. Norman.
Skip.
Number 36, The Lion King.
Mid.
See, is there a word for only seen halfway through?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever even really watched the full thing either.
No, I've sat through the first half and then sat through the second half on individual occasions. It's really weird. 37, Grave of the Fireflies. Skip.
Skip.
The Departed.
Skip.
Beautiful. Fast. Like, very fast. 39, Whiplash. Drums.
Crash.
Fair enough. Number 40, The Prestige. Magic.
Skip.
Number 41, Harakiri. Skip.
Skip.
32, American History X. Skip. Number 43, Leon the Professional.
Skip.
Yeah, interesting. Number 44, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
I
Really?
good.
It's good, but
44 on 250 list though of all these movies. I don't understand that.
yeah, I don't either. Number 45, Casablanca. Great.
Skip.
Number 46, The Usual Suspects.
Skip.
I was tired when I watched it. Number 47, The Intouchables. I have never heard of that movie.
No.
Skip. Number 48, Cinema Paradiso. Never heard of that one. Wait, yes, I have. I think is this the Italian movie about the guy in the small town who wants to... Salvador, a famous film director, returns to his hometown for the funeral of a local theater's film projectionist, Alfredo. Yeah, I've heard of this one. Skip.
Skip.
Number 49, Alien. Xenomorph.
Planet.
Nice. Have you seen that one?
I've like seen little clips.
Okay. Number 50, Modern Times, Charlie.
Skip.
Number 51, Rear Window, Camera.
Skip.
Number 52, Once Upon a Time in the West, Harmonica.
Tumbleweed. Is tumbleweed one word?
Yes.
I
Yes,
love
I believe so.
tumbleweeds. I always scream at them.
Number 53. Why?
They make me so excited. I love tumbleweeds.
Nice. Number 53, Django Unchained, Skip.
Skip.
Number 54, City Lights, Skip. 55, Apocalypse Now, Kurtz.
Skip.
Okay. Number 56, Dune Part 2. Really?
Overrated. Zendaya actually is my word.
Zendaya, okay. Number 57, Wall-E. Wall-E. Eve. Plant.
Ooh.
Number 58, Memento. Reverse.
Skip.
Number 59, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Whip.
Skip.
This is just me like mentioning stuff from it, but I kind of like this. Number 60, Thieves of Others. Skip.
Skip.
Number 61, Avengers Infinity War.
Useless.
Whoa.
Hot take.
Forced. I was...
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I was... I mean, more so I was forced to watch it, but
Oh,
also
I see.
it could be seen as forced. 62, Sunset Boulevard.
Skip.
Close up. That's not one word, but whatever. 63, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Revolutionary.
In animation.
Yes. Wait, is your word animation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good animation is what I think this movie's
Fair
at.
enough. We'll see if I think we're going to run out of time before we get to all 250. So we're going to see if we can get to 100.
Okay.
Number 64, Paths of Glory. Skip.
Skip.
Number 65, Witness for the Prosecution.
Skip.
Mysterious. I've seen that movie. 66, The Shining. Overrated.
Oh.
What's your skip?
Oh.
Oh. Number 67, The Great Dictator.
Skip.
Hilarious. Number 68, 12th Fail.
It's a brand new movie too.
Skip.
Skip.
Never heard of it. Number 69, Inglorious. Don't know if we can say that word on the radio. It's the Quentin Tarantino World War II movie. Overrated.
Skip.
Aliens.
Skip.
Improvement. Number 71, The Dark Knight Rises. Really?
Dun-na-na-na.
Dun-na-na-na.
Batman.
Number 72, Coco. Not for me. That's 3 words, but not for me. Still good.
Can I do a longer answer?
Sure.
You make me un poco loco.
No, that's better. That's so much better. 73, Amadeus. Skip.
Skip.
Number 74, Toy Story. Toy!
Bo Peep.
Nice. Number 57, Good Will Hunting. Fault.
Skip.
Number 76, Avengers Endgame. Skip.
Better.
Number 77, Old Boy.
Eh.
Ow. Have you seen Old Boy?
No.
Okay. Number 78, Doctor Strangelove or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
Skip.
Hilarious. Number 80, Das Boat. Skip.
Skip.
Braveheart. Skip for 80. Which one is that?
Skip.
Wait, no. Das Boot was number 79. 80 is Braveheart. 81, American Beauty. Skip.
Skip.
82, Princess Mononoke.
Skip.
Great. 83, Your Name. Skip. 84,
Skip.
High and Low. Skip. 85, Three Idiots. Skip. 86, Joker. Skip.
Vomit.
87, Once Upon a Time in America. Skip. 88, Singing in the Rain.
Skip.
Rain. Number 88,
Oh, yeah.
Capernaum. Skip.
Skip.
Number 91, Come and See. Cow.
Skip.
Number 92, Return of the Jedi.
Crush. Oh. Jabba.
Jabba. Number 93, Requiem for a Dream. Sad. Number 94, The Chaos Failed the Class. Skip. Number 95, Toy Story 3. Lotso.
Oh, Strawberries.
Number 95, The Hunt. Skip. Number 96, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless
Skip.
Mind. So sad. Number 97, Ikaru. Amazing. Number 98, 2001, Space Odyssey. Long. Number 99, Reservoir Dogs. Overrated. Wait, no. Perfect. Okay. Number 100, Lawrence of Arabia. Not for me.
Good.
Yeah. So that is the 100. We unfortunately are running a bit over, but that's completely fine. We do this all the time. Once again,
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in to What to Watch Weekends. My name is Nathan, the host of What to Watch Weekends. I'll be back next Wednesday from 8 to 9 p.m. for another episode of What to Watch Wednesdays, and next Saturday from 8 to 10 p.m. for another episode of What to Watch Weekends. If you want to follow along with either show, follow along with What to Watch Wednesdays on Instagram or YouTube at What to Watch Wednesdays. All one word, no caps, no spaces. Do you want to plug yourself one final time, Charlotte, here?
Thank you for having me today, Nathan. I had a wonderful time here on What to Watch Weekends. And if you want to hear a little bit more, maybe Nathan will come on my show too on Charlotte's Collection on Thursdays at 4.
Nice.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you all for listening in. I'll be back next Wednesday telling you all what to watch. Bye-bye.